Well. Good morning. Good England match day morning, West Ham fans. Let's have a few transfer rumours on the Russy Rumour roundup, shall we? Yes, everybody, Russell and West Ham. Now, I hope you're all safe and well. Happy Thursday. We're getting through the weekend. And obviously, England kick off tonight against Denmark. 5 p.m. kickoff. BST, British summertime. And the sun has turned up. But, as every dawn, every sunset, death, life and taxis, and West Ham rumours. And so, for anyone new, we do the Russy Rumour roundup. We're basically warning. We're not saying we are signing all these players. What we are doing is merely we look at all the gossip sites, all the gossip pages, all the ITKs, all the in the knows, and we bring to you the rumours, the latest rumours the players been linked with. And indeed, we actually make a point of saying we're not saying we're going to sign all these because we actually keep a running total. And quite impressive number already of players we've been linked to. So we go through them, we give you our views, and then we give you the Russy Rumour rating, the original Rumour rating, to say what we think of them. So let's kick off. Let's talk about Max Kilman. He is the name on... It does seem a lot of people's lips at the moment, particularly journalists and stuff like that. Fabrizio Romano on Tuesday said that West Ham were entering discussions with Wolves. That was confirmed on Sky Sports as well for the signing of the 27-year-old defender. Jacob Steinberg in the Guardian. We know Jacob and his relationship with West Ham, particularly the owners. So, I tend to listen to what he says. He said on Tuesday, the Hammers have yet to make an offer for the captain, but are very keen, and he is a top target for the Hammers this summer. Wolves are said to be desperate to keep hold of their captain, as you would imagine, and Gary O'Neill's side would take a fee of around £45 million to get him through the door. Obviously, he played under Julien when he was for his short time at Wolves. He made him captain, if I remember correctly. And according to the BBC Sport website on Tuesday, they said there is a feeling in the Midlands that the right bid could force Wolves' hand. And obviously, with Lopetegui's arrival at West Ham, that may strengthen the interest that we hold for him. Now, 45 million quid is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And indeed, you could easily go to Ligue 1 and buy someone with the same level of experience for probably 60% of the 45 million, maybe 50%. Indeed, you could probably get Jacob Greaves and Jaden, who we're going to talk about in a minute, combined for 45 million. It is a lot of money. Personally, and this again, just from my personal opinion, we need someone like Max Kilman. We need someone like him in our setup. For all the potential, and again, I look back at, I do talk about a lot the Brighton model. Yes, they go and buy, they get rid of, I can't remember the players they got rid of, but they bring in younger players, the next ones, and build them up. They still have that spine of experience. They got Dunk, and they still got James Milner. Obviously, Lallana's gone. Danny Welbeck. They still got that, and they relatively successful with that as a policy. For me, if we're going to be bringing in less Premier League experienced players, we need a Premier League experienced player to anchor onto. In my opinion, you might have a different opinion, and I totally respect that. But for me, I think going into a season with a complete new two centre halves, which is what it's looking like we're having, with no Premier League experience. Say we got Jacob Reeves and Vitoa as our starting two. Maybe Mavropanos might have something to say about that, but say those two. We know how. For me, you could get Max Kilman and Jacob Greaves together, nice two, or Vitoa together, or even Jaden. Osterwald as well. I like that, but I think you need someone like him. 45 million does seem a bit pricey, granted, but but the trouble is, with that Premier League experience comes a value. And the fact is, he is homegrown as well. That comes with a value. He's 27, so just about entering his peak. This is not one for the future. This is one now who could start against Aston Villa in August the 14th, wherever it is. Walk straight into it. Knows the Premier League, knows setup, knows how Villa plays, and has the ear of the head coach. And in the same way that I think our most successful managers in recent eras have had a senior player in the side who is sort of the go between the head coach now, but was the manager, and the playing staff. Max could be that person. He could be our Kevin Nolan under Big Sam. He could be our Mark Noble under David Moyes. That type of player. But yeah, so I think we need someone like him for all the great young talent we're getting. I think we need him. The Russy Rumour rating, the original Rumour rating, gives him a 7 out of 10. Who's next? Let's talk about another old Premier League player. And again, this story went away, but it's sort of kind of been resurrected yesterday. Photo Mac, the Turkish media outlet, claimed that West Ham have tabled an offer to sign the Galatasaray forward Wilfried Zaha, the Ivory Coast international. Obviously, only joined Galatasaray last summer, and despite winning the title there, the club there's been recent reports he could return to England. And according to Photomac, West Ham have offered Gala €7 million for the former Crystal Palace player as they look to strengthen the attack. However, that initial bid was rebuffed, and it expected a proved offer around €10 million can get the deal done. Obviously, they expect talks to continue with Galatasaray keen to get Zaha off their wage bill. He's reportedly earning about €4.3 million a year. Signing us from a free transfer last year, and they want to free us up in order to sign new players. There's been recent reports that Zaha wants to remain in Istanbul despite being snubbed in the final few games of the season. But it seems Galatasaray have other ideas. He played 42 times for Galatasaray last season, 10 goals, and obviously he's contracted with Galatasaray until June 2026. Now, again, a guy who can come in tomorrow, in essence, and play against Aston Villa the first game of the season. He doesn't need a betting in period, and so there's a balancing act here. 10 million quid. It's pump money, really. It's actually probably 10 million euros, really. It's about 8 million quid in it. It's pretty much the Danny Ings money being reinvested, both in terms of wages and in terms of the transfer fee. Near much. Danny Ings, Southampton want to pay 6 million. I imagine that will go up to about 7.5, maybe 8 million quid. In all honesty, to get him off the books, 125 grand a week, pretty much quid pro quo, to be honest. Russy rating, the original rating, gives this one a 6 out of 10 because we are interested in a lot of wingers at the moment, and I think there's a balancing act needed. In terms of another winger, Jack Clark, the Yorkshire Post have been quoted on Tuesday saying that West Ham are still reportedly weighing up a move to sign the former Leeds Academy player, currently obviously playing for Sunderland. Sunderland actually did a good deal, I think, buying him for 10 million quid from Spurs back in 2019. And yeah, obviously they've unlocked his potential. He's 27 goals in 100 odd appearances for the Black Cats. And we are apparently weighing up a bid. Again, it was his homegrown talent. He's born in York. So he'd fit the bill there. I just don't know whether it's one winger too far. Great player, lots of bags of potential. You'd probably be paying 20. I reckon you're at least 20 million quid for him, in my opinion, because of that homegrown quota and the potential he has. Don't know, to be honest. He's quick. Wouldn't say he's as quick as someone like Luis Guilherme or probably even Zaha, to be honest, but he's very skillful. Type of player I think we would really warm to in the way that we really warm to Jarrod Bowen. Not local lad, but a British lad and things like that. But I think it might be one too many. The Russy Rumour rating. I've given it a Lamar. I've given it a 50-50. What about now? I'm 50-50. Let's talk more defence. Go to defence. We spoke about this guy before, Jadon Oostenwald. But apparently, according to Turkish media reports, West Ham are intensifying our pursuit, whatever that means, for the Fenerbahce defender, with an official bid to be submitted next week. Apparently, the 23-year-old Dutch international can comfortably play at centre half and at left back, and has emerged as a target for the West Ham side over the last week. Journalist Yagiz Supanakuru, definitely that's how you pronounce his name, revealed that we've apparently requested recordings of Oostenwald's performances against Galatasaray from his agent. It sounds a bit like Marco Boogers, doesn't it? When Harry Redknapp just signed him with tapes. But apparently he's requested recordings of the performance. It's not a matinee, mate. So, apparently, that apparently suggests to Jaegers that it's a thorough scouting progress is in the midst. However, West Ham do face an uphill battle, apparently, for the pursuit of Jadon, as the Fenerbahce president, Ali Koch. Stop laughing. I'll see you at the back. Stop laughing. I'll just repeat that. Fenerbahce president, Ali Koch, has made it clear that Oostenwald will only be allowed to leave the club for an extraordinary fee, which is apparently around 20 million euros, which isn't that extraordinary, to be honest. I think that's pretty average, wouldn't you admit? So, yeah, as I said, according to Sports Digitale, the Hammers will submit an official offer to Fenerbahce next week. The details of the offer remain unknown, but it will obviously need to meet Fenerbahce's financial demands in order to have any chance of securing Oostenwald. This is a really good guy. This is the type of guy I'm excited about. Him alongside a Max Kilman would be interesting. The fact is he can jeopardise at left back as well, which means he's left-footed or predominantly left-footed. So, he's young, he's versatile, he can play in a couple of different positions. So if need be, if we need to push Emerson more up the wing, go to a back three, he can drop into the back three as a left-sided back three. He can play left back, maybe if there was needed to be any sort of jiggery pokery, or if Emerson gets injured and maybe Cress isn't up to it. There's lots of options there. And so I really like the look of him. Very exciting, very quick player as well. You can see that a lot of players we've been linked with are very quick. And that's really good to see, because that was something that we were very poorly paced last year. Russy Rumour rating, the original Rumour rating, 7 out of 10. Let's talk about another youngster. This guy looks about 12, but it's not. It's Karamoko Dembele. Apparently West Ham might be back in the hunt to sign him, according to reports, particularly after what his sporting director said. So we've gone from Ali Koch and we've gone to Brest now. The Hammers are among a number of clubs, including Everton and Nottingham Forest, who are still exploring a potential deal for the 21-year-old forward. And if they were to make a move, his sporting director has basically said he's going to be up for sale. He was speaking. The Brest sporting director, Gregory Lorenzi, told French publication L'Equipe on Tuesday, confirming that Dembele is one of the 4 players who are free to leave the club. He does fit the Steindon profile in that he likes looking at players who need a second chance. He had, originally he was highly coveted as a teenager, and his career has stalled a little. He was at Celtic, you may remember, a prestigious talent, and then had an excellent loan spell at Blackpool last season. But he hasn't quite lived up to his potential that his younger years suggested he might. Which doesn't mean he can't do it in the future. He's still 21. Under the right coaching, maybe an arm around him, the right approach, you could see Dembele become the star his billing alluded to at his early stage. He played a total of 47 games at Blackpool last year and managed to contribute a total of 23 goals during his time. So I imagine that's a goal contribution. Well, it might be goal scored, but still, that's almost one in every other game. I've done the maths. So it's an interesting one. does fit the profile of that sort of second chance saloon type player that Steinson likes. Russy Rumour rating, I give it a Lamar though, because we're just linked with lots of players at the moment, including this gentleman, centre half, Udinese centre half, Nuro Perez. Apparently, there might be a slight spanner in the works, according to the Telegraph. According to their journalists, Mike McGrath and James Ducker. They reported on the Telegraph website on Tuesday that Atletico Madrid apparently have a buyback option on Perez, thanks to a clause inserted when Udinese took him to the Serie A permanently 2 years ago. We are apparently reportedly interested, along with multiple other Premier League clubs, for the Argentine international, as well as the likes of AC Milan. Perez, who's 23, good age, is said to be open to a move to London Stadium, according to the Moose. And apparently a £13.5 million bid is on the cards. Not if Atletico Madrid have got a buyback clause, which they may well exercise. One of the sides we are discussing Naya Figueired's departure is Atletico Madrid. Maybe. Bit of jiggery pokery. Who knows? I mean, it's fair to say. Oh, I didn't give you the rating. Oh, bugger. I gave it 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. Russy Rumour rating. Let's go back and let's talk one more defender, and that is the Italian defender. You may well have seen him in the Euros. West Ham apparently one of a number of Premier League clubs who have inquired about the Bologna defender, Riccardo Calafiori. Yep, Calafiori, that would do. According to The Athletic, the Hammers have reportedly joined Newcastle, Liverpool and Brighton in the pursuit of the Italian, who impressed in his first game against Albania in the Euros last week. Calafiori has had a good season. He's helped Bologna finish 5th in Serie A, which actually secured their main Champions League spot next year or next season. And it's believed his side may consider selling him if they receive an offer basis too good to turn down. Make me an offer you can't refuse. It's Italy. I was trying to do the Godfather. Didn't work. Now, what's quite interesting about old Ricardo is, I don't know if you recall, but actually when he was playing for Basel in 2022, I want to say, he actually was on our radar because basically he declared he wanted to join West Ham. He was quoted in saying, back in 2022 when he was playing for Basel, I have 2 images. One, going back to Italy, perhaps in Rome, or my dream would be to play in the Premier League. I really like West Ham or Chelsea. That was the quote. Obviously, Calafiori, of course, returned to his homeland. He went to Bologna. But the chances of him leaving Italy are said to be rather low. The Athletic claim that Juventus are currently in pole position to sign him due to the presence of his former coach, Thiago Motta, who was his coach at Bologna. So he may well take that course. However, you never know in football. I did actually give him a rating. I just realised. I gave him 5 out of 10. Now, everyone wants to know what's the latest on the numbers. Where are we? We're at 122 players. 122 players being sold. We've bought all of them. Almost 6 squads worth. You're going to buy every single one of them. I mean, we've spoken at length a lot of these players, and obviously we've got discussions at the moment with Danny Ings and Naya Figueired and Zuma, and reports yesterday that the Saudi Arabian Pro League are looking at Paqueta and Kudus. Just like throwing all names up at the hat and seeing which ones fall down. It's almost like that at the moment. It does seem that we're signing Wes Fodringham as our third choice backup goalkeeper. That will happen 1st of July, I believe, around that time his contract with Sheffield United finishes. According to Sean Wheatson, he reckons he's on about 12.5k at Sheffield United, so not going to break the back end. As we had mentioned several times, that it coincides with Copenhagen having a bid of around £1.72 million, something like pounds accepted for Nathan Trott. Obviously, we exercised the 2-year addition to his contract, and we said we suggested he was going to do that in order to then be sold. Very similar to what we did with Pablo Fornals. We exercised the 2-year addition to his contract. Obviously, he's been playing in the Danish Superliga for the last year. Last year he was in the division below, both with Vejle Blomklub and Copenhagen, great side. One of the top sides in the Danish Super League. So hopefully that also gets through. And wish Nathan all the best. Anyway, the reason why we're doing the Hammers roundup now is at lunchtime. Anton's got Bubbles on from Hammers United. Paul, you would have heard he was on TalkSport yesterday with Jim and Simon, and I think Pards was on that as well, to talk about all the stuff around the season ticket petition and stuff like that. So Anton's going to be doing that at lunchtime. I'll be back for Hammers Headlines afterwards, so make sure you check out that interview. It may be live, I think. I don't know. Anyway, keep an eye on the channel and we'll let you know when that's up and running. Take care. Stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. Have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you probably early afternoon because 5 o'clock kickoff for the England game. So Hammers Headlines won't be open. Won't be at the usual time. Much love. Bye-bye.